What's that poking out of your head, man?
Is it a gray hair? Oh man.
All right. Today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Tony Mravle.
Say you're worried about a gray hair. I'd like to have hair, so consider yourself lucky, man.
Oh man! For you to display that much grace, though, in a situation like that, when you have all the things that you got going on, that's really, I mean, that's something that anyone can learn from.
Well, call me if this happens again tomorrow.
Do you think parenting was difficult back then, or it is now?
I think it's pretty egocentric for any of us. I think the point of a lot of it is we just want to make sure that our kids are humble yet confident, that they're appreciative. So I think every age has had its challenges, but its gifts too. We've been around for 131 years. KSKJ is not my company. It was here long before I was here. God willing, it'll be here a long time after I'm here. I'm just the caretaker. It's just my turn to take care of it and pay it forward, hopefully stronger than when I found it.
Nishant, what's that poking out of your head, man?
Man, is it a gray hair?
It's looking like a gray hair.
I'm getting too old for this.
Man,
Man.
hey.
Oh man.
All right,
Dude, I'm 23, man. I'm getting
I know
old.
you can't. Don't do that now. You can't. Yeah, you're the youngest, one of the younger ones in the company. But today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Tony Mravle.
Thank you, gentlemen. Say you're worried about a gray hair. I'd like to have hair, so consider yourself lucky, man.
Oh man, that's good.
Jeez.
Wow. Thank you for giving us your time today.
Of course.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. Now I feel bad that I have less hair, but other than that, I'm doing great.
When Rana was like we were making a list, and definitely in the top 5 guests, you were there.
Oh,
and
thank
I was
you.
so excited because I remember last time we only have met once, like virtually. Right?
Sure.
And the last time we had the conversation, it was some marketing call last year.
Yeah,
and I love
thank
the
you.
energy.
I'm excited for you all and the whole iCover team and what you're up to and what you're about, and very much respect the approach and everything behind it too. Right, the product is great and the service is great, but the way that you go about what you're doing and the development and the empowering people and the sense of purpose, I know that for me and for us, we've felt a lot of synergy with iCover, and that's why we were really excited to get started as practically your first client, right? About 3 years plus ago, and just been excited all along the way to continue growing together as both our organizations continue to grow. So it's been really neat, and always happy to help or support y'all as best I can. So I appreciate the time with you.
Love, man. Yeah, and I've Nishant, if you were here, you'd be at a lot of these events with us collectively.
Oh.
But like, it's been a real fortunate to be able to see you. I think we've seen each other like 3 times now, 3 or 4 times. So real fortunate. It's like I get excited when I see you on the bill. And so thank you for, again, like, this is great. We were excited to know that we would be able to get this going with you. So yeah, no, I just how about just tell us a little bit about yourself, like what your upbringing was like, and how you got to the point you're in now to be head of the company, CEO of the company.
Sure. Yeah. And it's more intertwined than I would have thought when I was younger. So I'll actually start with my dad. So my dad is from the country of Slovenia now. It used to be part of Yugoslavia. And like a lot of the other fraternal organizations, there's people that came over from Europe to the United States for a better life, looking for work. And, the first wave of that was really the late 1800s. And then at least for people in our organization, there was a second big wave around World War II. And when they came to the States, again, like a lot of fraternals, there wasn't all of the organizations and the development in the late 1800s that there are now, of course. So people would band together and form organizations to support each other. And they were either based on ethnicity or religion, culture, those kinds of things. And certainly KSKJ Life was one of those. So our part of the story is my dad is from Slovenia. He came over in the late 50s and eventually got a job at KSKJ. And so without knowing it, that started our journey, right? And so like a lot of fraternals, you were born into it, right? So when a member got married, they had kids, they became members and started doing all the activities. And I can think back to things like Easter egg hunts and basketball and all kinds of social and spiritual activities. You know, there are things involved at church as a faith dimension for sure. That's a root of the purposefulness of what we do in our community engagement and volunteerism and charity. But I didn't ever think that, at some point that's going to be a career, right? This was the participation in the organization. And then as I got older, I realized that the backbone of all of this was the insurance, the financial products, right? That's where the finances came to fund these activities and charitable activities. And so it was kind of a second career to now come into this and say, yeah, you know what, this is really great. It's a unique niche where it's a financial institution, but it's a not-for-profit and it's member owned, right? So there's this social component that's really interesting. And I don't know if it's normally thought of as something that is a both and. It's financial and it's fraternal. We'd say in our case, it's financial and member owned. It's financial and it's charitable. It's financial and it's volunteer focused. And sometimes that takes a little bit for people to wrap their heads around and say, wait, explain that. Say more to me about that. Like, how is that? Those things don't normally tend to go together. So that's really kind of how it started, was first being a younger member and being involved in the activities, but then as an adult purchasing insurance and then, working here and really finding an alignment with my personal values and purposefulness and spirituality. Say, yeah, this is really super cool to be part of something that you can positively impact somebody's life with purpose, financially and socially. It's pretty cool.
I love that. That's awesome. Wow. So, and what does KSKJ stand for? Because I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, most of us can't either. There's the Slovenian translation of that loosely Slovenian to English would speak to the roots. It's American Slovenian Catholic Union, because that was the roots of it. Obviously, over time, again, like many fraternals, we've evolved and grown. So we get those questions occasionally, like, well, so then you have to be a Catholic or a Slovenian descent to be a member and buy insurance? No, we're very proud of those roots, right? That's where we started. That's our tradition. And we've been around for 131 years. So clearly things evolve, but the core values remain the same, right? The commitment to family, the commitment to community, the commitment to making a difference and being able to offer value with our financial products and our benefits for members, that's extended to all. So in a way, it's a very kind of a cool thing to have that as our name. And it's part of the reason why we keep our name, because it is rooted in our history and our traditions. And yet, as we evolve and move forward, it's a mission and core values that are open to all.
I love that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Remind me one more time. Sorry. Where were you born and raised in again? What?
Believe it or not, right here in Joliet, Illinois, because that's where our home office has been forever. So once my dad ended up in Joliet to work at KSKJ, that's where our home roots are. But I love to joke about that because there's always stories. Ronnie, I always have stories.
Right.
So we grew up here. I'm the oldest of four. And then I went to college here locally too. And at one point, my siblings started to move away a little bit. And then I met my wife, and she's from the St. Louis area. So I moved down there. We got married and had two of our three kids, but then decided to move back because we wanted to be closer to my parents so they could have a closer relationship with them. So we moved back, and then everybody left. So I don't know what happened, but I don't know if it's something I said, if I smell, I don't know what it is. But now all of a sudden we're the ones that came back. And yeah, the rest of our family is almost as far as you can get around the country, from Alabama to Texas, California. So I'm still trying to figure out what I did wrong, but
That's funny. Wow. Okay. And then how long were you in St. Louis before you moved back?
about 6 years.
Wow. Okay. That's right. That's right.
About 6 years. So
Yeah.
yeah, long enough to be dangerous.
Oh man, that's awesome.
How were you like a kid? Because you're fun, very fun right now. So were you funny like that when you're growing up?
I'll give my mom credit for that.
Okay.
Yeah, my parents have that yin and yang type of relationship. I'm sure a lot of folks can see in marriages. So Rana, watch out. Being newly engaged yourself, watch out. There is some truth to the line that opposites attract. So both my parents are very kind and engaging. And while my dad would tend to be more comfortable having a night at home, being reserved and relaxed that way. My mom is the type that loves people and loves to be out in it, and just really thrives on that. So I think between the two, all of us kids at some point picked up different parts of those personalities. So in a perfect world, I'd like to think that I can balance those out. And sometimes maybe it's an oldest child thing. I'm not sure that's it too, but I like to think of it as just being willing to laugh at myself and not take myself too seriously, be open to other people and other thoughts and opinions, so we can have genuine, open, honest conversations and dialogue and interactions, and not think that my way has to be the right way and push that on folks. So I think it's easy to get too serious about a lot of stuff in life there, and there's plenty to be serious about. So don't take that comment to mean like, oh, I don't want to be serious about anything, because there are plenty of things to be serious about. But if we can't laugh at ourselves a little bit and find the humor in things, then things can get dark real fast.
Certainly. Wow.
Who's your favorite comedian?
I don't know if this is quite the way you'd want me to answer it, because it would dovetail on other stuff, but probably Adam Sandler. And my son tells me that I remind him of Adam Sandler in some ways. I just think of myself as a regular guy, and have my t-shirts and basketball shorts, and just a regular guy.
That's cool. That's cool. Did you watch Happy Gilmore 2 yet?
Yes, I did.
Okay. It's on my list to watch.
Yes,
I haven't watched the original. Or
what?
if I did, yeah, I know. If I did, it was one of those situations where it's like on TV, like when back when, we had Dish Network or whatever, like it would be on TV. And
well, you should watch that one first before you watch two.
Yeah.
I think, like a lot of sequels, you can go wrong with sequels, but this one did a pretty great job of still being funny and fresh while giving nods to the first movie. Like, you knew it was going to be there, but I didn't feel like it overdid it too much. And even though the plot line was predictable and foreseen, I still enjoyed it. It's kind of what you expected and you liked because you liked the first movie.
I see. Okay.
So I was okay with it.
But not like Dumb and Dumber 2, which was just like...
No. Yeah. And that's why I think, and I guess, man, that's a caveat for all of us, right? Some people talk like, well, Tony's usually okay, but sometimes, movies are going to be like that too. So I think even, listen to me, gosh, this could go public, and then I'm going to get a phone call from Adam Sandler. I would imagine that he would even guess like, yeah, not all the movies are hits. They're not, but they're not going to be. That's life, right? But just by and large, I've enjoyed most of his things. And from what I know, he seems just like a good dude that takes care of his people, and, the people that show up in movie after movie with him because they really enjoy just working together, and he takes care of them. So I could be making it mean something it's not, but he seems like he's a good dude. So I respect that.
He was you know, as you know, he loves basketball a lot. Like he'll just do a lot of pickup games here and there. But he was at UMSL,
No
you know,
kidding.
St. Louis. Yeah, like this was I'm saying it like it was just recent. This was about, I'd say like 6 years ago or something.
Okay.
He was in the area for something. I can't remember what it was, and he was just at the UMSL gym. Like it was crazy. Like
He's
you
just
know,
a dude. He's just hanging out.
I love that, right?
Yep.
Keanu Reeves, he's another one of those
Ah,
cats.
yeah.
So, yeah, no, certainly, it's really cool to see that.
For our viewers out there, what 5 movies do you recommend?
Oh
Your
gosh.
top 5.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Well, and there's always the caveats there. What 5 movies do I recommend for who or for what?
Right, I see.
Okay, don't recommend. Okay, what are your top 5 greatest movies like that you watched and you were like?
That you just love, yeah, that stick out to you. I guess, like, yeah, that's a good question. So,
All right. Well, I've got a couple different answers there based on that, because there's the what will I watch no matter what if it shows up on TV Saturday afternoon when I'm actually not doing anything. And I'm going to be that 80s throwback guy. I'm the Jurassic Park guy. I'm the Indiana Jones guy. I'm the Back to the Future guy. I know exactly what's going to happen because I've watched them all like 50 times, but I love it. I love it. You know, the other things that I get into, I'll say this with a caveat, but you know, everything with me is going to be a caveat. I mean, like, yeah, would you just get pinned down on something, Tony? I like I don't know that I'd call it science fiction, but kind of, sort of. And not alien science fictions, like, okay, whatever, you know, not necessarily that, but the stuff that makes you think a little bit and you go, ooh, now that's an interesting twist. Oh gosh, what's the one? The Tomorrow War, I think, was one.
well, okay, I'm gonna go back and.
Nishan, I don't know. You're nodding your head. I don't know if you've seen that or heard of that. And I'm so bad at naming actors and stuff too. Chris Pratt, I think, is in that one.
You're talking about like Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So there's some stuff like that I just find fascinating to think about, time travel or space travel, you know, those kinds of things I found interesting. You know, my wife and I have kind of binge watched some of those things when they've been on Prime or Apple TV too. The Expanse, I think, was one of them. There's a show on there now that has a little bit of weird elements, but Foundation is on Apple TV right now. So I just kind of find fascinating when there's this psychological element to humanity and how humans work and think and repeat mistakes, right? And then you project that into a future and what would that look like if? So that stuff's just kind of fascinating to me. And then I've got my 80s throwback. So
I love that. That's cool. When you're not watching movies, what do you like to do? Like what are some of your likes, hobbies?
Okay, let me reframe that. What's a day in life of a CEO of KSKJ look like?
I probably have to admit that I'm probably a fairly typical middle-aged dad. So okay. I don't think I'm special. So I'll tell you what my day normally looks like. I don't sleep great anymore, so I'll wake up at 5 or 5:30. And I've tried to get myself into a pretty decent routine where I'll grab coffee, I deal with the dogs, and then I'll have some reflection time, kind of some meditation, some prayer. Then I'll make sure that my youngest daughter gets off on the bus to school. I'll exercise, I'll work, and then I'll come home and work. Not work, KSKJ work, but homework, right? Mm-hmm. Like make sure that people which now I'm down to one that would need a ride. The other two drive themselves now, but make sure my younger one has her ride or is taken to practice or picked up from practice. And then it's just the house stuff, right? My wife is a business owner too. She's a chiropractor. So we're both kind of running, right? So it's like, hey, did we need more groceries tonight? I got to go pick up or pick up somebody's contacts from the eye doctor. So we just go, right? And at some point, the dogs are fed again. All the kids have come home and have been fed, and we ran whatever errands we had to run, and we'll take the dogs for a walk after dinner. And then, it's maybe like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and my wife and I look at each other and be like, why don't we sit on the couch for half an hour and watch a show? So we'll do that. Try to get the kids to bed. They're all teenagers now, so they just kind of do their own thing. But then we're just kind of crashing out by 10 or 10:30, and then you rinse and repeat, and you do it again the next day. But it's not a complaint at all. I've told folks before, and my wife and I have talked about it before. This is the life we've chosen. We love it. It's our purpose, is taking care of other folks. She gets to take care of patients, and I try to take care of our staff, our members, our agents, our vendor partners, just try to take care of everybody, and then, take care of our kids and our family too. And if you're somehow addressing most of those things on a daily basis, life is good. It's purpose.
That's amazing.
Man. And that's how he's able, Nishan, now I got the secret. He's able to like move around and get to where he needs to be because Mrs. Mravle is a chiropractor.
That's right. My bad joke is she keeps me straightened out. I can't get out of line.
Oh, man. What's that? What is that like? I've never
Oh, that's my dream,
getting
every week I want to go to a chiropractor like this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What do
you know the problem, right? All of us looking at screens all day long, we start doing this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And this is all hurting, and your shoulders are hurting, and your back, and
Wow. Well, you call it getting adjusted if you go to a chiropractor, I think.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Okay. So, what is that like? Is it as like you see those videos, right, of like people just like it's just like you open, like you just crumpled up a bag of like chips or something, like it's just whoa.
Yeah. Well, and there's multiple ways to do it. What I appreciate about my wife, it's going to be an infomercial for her, but she's truly a healer. She's gifted. And there's everything from nutrition to energy work, Reiki, all acupuncture, so it's chiropractic, and there's a holistic view, and she takes time with her patients. There's some chiropractors that, and there's people that want this. So I'm not saying there's something wrong with it, but they'll spend 60 seconds with you, right? They come in and then they move on to the next person. And people are like, yeah, I wanted that endorphin rush. Hit me, I'm out. My wife will take time with everybody to understand, okay, what's actually going on, so I can analyze and actually help what you may need beyond just a quick thing. And she's certainly able and capable of doing the twisting, cracking thing, but she uses an instrument, an activator that's a lot more gentle, because I know some people get weirded out by the twisting and the cracking stuff. She doesn't need to do that. She's clearly proficient at it. It's clearly safe. It's been proven to do that. And so she's worked on newborn babies all the way up to 90-year-olds in a safe way that's effective, and she gets great results, right? Like, and I'm jealous in a way of her work, because what we do is, hopefully, right, in the best cases, we can sell somebody a policy that we know is going to provide for their family, hopefully decades down the road. Right. And she gets to see people and make a difference immediately. Right. Yeah. People are in pain, whatever it is. It could be a structural thing with the bones. It could be muscular. It could be digestive. Right. There's things that she can address and help with folks day one, where they can walk out of her office going, wow, I'm so glad I came in. And some things take more time than that. But there's really a really cool gift that she gets to provide to folks to do that. And I admire the heck out of her. She's super talented, and very, very different from what the opportunities that I have in this role.
Wow. That's so cool, man. I love that. I knew exactly where you're going when you started saying, like, the way, what she does is immediate, or you see the results immediately rather. And then whereas, with insurance, life insurance, it takes time, obviously. Right.
And honestly, Ron, I think that's part of the challenge these days for any of us selling insurance, because our society has been so trained and focused on now.
Yeah.
Now, right?
Yeah.
We have our phones, we have notifications, everything is instant and instant gratification. And I can go online and order something and it shows up within 2 hours and I don't have to leave my house, right? And everything is so now. And for some of us, there's that cultural context that is still fresh enough and new enough that there's a longer time horizon, and yet that's still shifting, right? Maybe the old way, the traditional way was, you save for the future, you invest in the future, and you put money into these things, or you grow your education, do things because at some later date you will benefit from it. And our current culture is so not that. So I think it makes it kind of challenging to present opportunities to people with some of the products we have because of that.
Man, yeah, that's real. Oh my God.
I would like to ask something like,
Good.
when I asked you about your day in life and you talked about the purpose you have in your life, right? And I asked this question to everyone, whoever I meet, that I'm 23, and after one point, you don't even think about money. You you just keep thinking about the days you have, and you just keep asking yourself, just sitting in this room, what's the purpose of my life? Right?
Mhm.
And how would I find that purpose, or how would anyone who is around my age or who is still lost, like I wouldn't say I'm lost, but despite I love the job that I do right now. I enjoy every single day. Like Rana knows,
Excellent.
I put in hours and hours, and I don't
Yeah.
feel tired at all.
He doesn't, man.
But some days you just feel like, so this is it, I'm just gonna work and die one day.
Right.
So like, what's the purpose of my life?
Right.
So
What I would encourage you to do, and this just gets to spirituality, and I'm purposefully using that word and not religion. Everyone can have a different faith practice, right? And they can have a different denomination of whatever they choose. I believe that we're all connected. I believe that we're all united. And when we look beyond the surface level, when we look beyond how people look or even what they say or how they act, we look beyond the mistakes that people make and we identify with the spirit that I think connects all of us, then I think powerful things happen. And ironically, what happens with our products and stuff too is the one thing we know is we're all going to die, right? And so as a young person, you're right to sit there and you should be asking these questions. What is the purpose? Because there's generation after generation of people that are born and then they die. And there can be sickness, there can be accidents, there can be tragedy. So what's the meaning of it all? Right? I don't know that there are simple answers to that, other than the simple but not easy thought that perhaps our purpose is to go beyond all of these differences and distinctions that we think we've set up, that I'm different, I'm independent, I'm better, you're worse, I have to win so you can lose. Like when we can look beyond all of that and focus on unity and love, I think some magical things start to happen. And that can impact your personal life, that can impact family life, it can certainly impact work. And the maybe, again, simple answer as a young person that might be too simple to look at is to say you can demonstrate and feel your purpose every moment, no matter where you're at. It doesn't have to be, I started a company or I got this award for this, blah, blah, blah. It's just simply that you looked the person in the eye in line at the coffee shop and just said hello. You acknowledged that they're a human being and they're worthy of being acknowledged. You held a door open for someone. You gave somebody a smile. It's just that moment you connected beyond the five senses we have with this human body, and you connected spiritually. And to me, that's the beginnings of it.
Wow.
That was good, man. Mr. Tony, you read books. You read a lot of books. And I know that it's probably hard to, actively make time to read, right, with all the things you got going on. But like, what is a book that you've read, I guess, recently that you'd like to recommend, or that you've given the time to that you'd like to recommend?
So to continue this part of the conversation spiritually, it's a book that my dad recommended to me, and I've been working on it for 3 years. It's called A Course in Miracles. It's more of a workbook. So it's definitely a spiritual. It's not fair to call it a book or even a spiritual read. It's more of it's a workbook, and it's a way to retrain your mind and your thinking. So that's where some of my where most of these comments are coming from. And I've found a ton of value in it. It's changed my life and helped me change my thinking.
Wow.
To be more purposeful, to be more peaceful, to be less reactive. I still have a lot of work to do. I haven't been self-actualized. But I would very much recommend that to people. And so there's a nice big thick book. There's also a phone app that can go along with it, because there's the reading, there's the text, and then there's almost what you would say would be maybe a thought for the day or reflection of the day. And it doesn't exactly mirror the reading, but it kind of helps you stay present and focused to it. Because as you can imagine, life happens, right? So
Yeah.
you can have your morning coffee and you can do your morning reading and reflection for 10 minutes or 15 minutes and be feeling super great. Feel super great. And then you get in your car, right?
Yeah.
You don't even have to get out of your driveway and you're already pissed off. So it's super helpful to have those reminders from that phone app. And, it's got a little notification you can set up to, maybe it's on the hour or something. It'll ping or something. You go, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Take a breath, Tone. Take a breath.
Oh man, that's funny.
So
Wow.
I would recommend that.
Okay.
And then depending on your persuasion, right? I think sometimes reading, it depends on what your purpose in reading is for. Sometimes reading is a really great break for your mind. So have fun. Have fun. If you want to read Nicholas Sparks, go for it, right? My wife likes to read Jody Pickled. If you're a dude and you like Tom Clancy stuff or whatever, go for it, right? Whether it's adventure or historical fiction or whatever, go for it. For anyone in a role similar to mine, it's a challenge because there's so much information out there. You just try to keep a finger on the pulse of what's going on, right? So financial minded, it could be Wall Street Journal. I know a lot of folks like Harvard Business Review. You're just trying to keep in touch. There's TED Talks, there's YouTube videos, there's financial analysts, there's and I would encourage people just to not get too stuck in one vein, because regardless of what your political persuasion is, I think what most of us could probably agree with is that most of the stuff that's out there has a slant to it. So some of the folks that I've heard mention this before, I thought was really interesting, is they will purposefully read or listen to things from multiple venues, knowing that there's going to be the slant, so they can try to start to triangulate. Okay, I'm hearing things from different places. I can make up my own mind and try to figure out what the truth is in what I'm seeing and reading and hearing. And that gets super difficult, Nishant, for someone at your age. I give you guys a lot of credit because you got it tough. When I was young, the news was the news, right? There's like maybe 3 main stations, and the folks that were on there were generally saying the same thing. They were just different people, right? So if you like someone's personality a little bit better, you would watch them, but it never occurred to you that that wasn't the truth. These days, depending on what TV channel or web channel or social account or wherever you're getting your information, how can you discern or know what's actual legitimate factual truth versus interpretation or someone having maybe an agenda or perception of something, it gets super difficult. It gets super difficult anymore. So the only way I can think of to help anybody be of their own mind is to not get stuck in one source. Make sure you're choosing multiple sources that you feel are trustworthy, and then make up your own mind, because you're going to be hearing some different things and some different opinions of it, and then try to figure out. What I'm trying to teach my kids is, don't take things that you're seeing and hearing at face value. Think, and fact check a little bit, and figure out where you can fact check. That gets difficult too. But there's almost any headline you can read, and you'll get, whoa, you get all worked up about it, and then you read the article and go, well, wait a minute. That's really not what the headline had to say at all.
Right.
Or you look at it, and then you go to this other source and go, oh, well, they didn't mention that. They didn't admit that. And so you start putting the pieces together, and you can have your own opinion on something that's an educated opinion, not just an emotional reaction to something.
Wow. Yeah.
Do you think parenting was difficult back then, or it is now?
I think it's pretty egocentric for any of us, because to say that our time was harder, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny, because about 3 weeks ago, my siblings and I, we took our kids, we met in Slovenia. It was, for most of us, it was our first trip. And so it was the first time to go to the space where, the house where my dad grew up and the church that he went to and those things. But the reason why I tell you that, it was a funny aside, because he didn't embellish too much, but we remember hearing the stories when we were kids about how hard he had it. He had to walk a mile to get to the train that would take him into town so he could go to school. And like, oh yeah, do you have to fight off some wolves while you're at it? Like, okay, right? Like, everybody's got these stories, and I think the point of a lot of it is we just want to make sure that our kids are humble yet confident, that they're appreciative, right? They're grateful. I think underlying all those stories, that's what it is. So I think every age has had its challenges, but its gifts too, right? Look at all of the medical advances we have now, and the good things that come from technology now, the things that are positively impacting education. And my kids go to school and they all have a laptop, right? Yeah. Back in the day, we just had a whole bunch of papers we were bringing back and forth, and we're up at the chalkboard, but that was what was great for them, right? Now there's so much more available and more individualized education that's available, or support services available. The things that are okay to talk about now that weren't back then, you just had to suffer, right? People that had dyslexia or emotional issues. So I think every stage has its own thing, good positives and challenges. And, our opportunity again is to be able to be human with each other and look beyond the stuff that we would tend to want to alienate one another over, out of this false sense of, I can only be okay if I'm better than you, or safer than you, or richer than you, or we got to get over this other business.
That's real. I'll say this. I absolutely commend how you being the role that you're in for KSKJ Life, and and like still nurturing, from what I know, right? Because like prior to this podcast more so, but really just to shine a light on how you nurture your kids' ventures, right? Like whether it's the sports that they do, or the academic, or what extracurriculars, or one of your kids has a band. Yeah, you want to go ahead and plug that in as part of it. Yeah, go ahead and make the QR code like visible by itself so people can scan that on a pause. Yeah, there you go. That's good. Yeah. Exit 122, which some of the songs of which that I have saved on my very own YouTube Music. So yeah. Yeah. Nishant, check it out. I'll send you my favorites so you can listen to it. How do you go about, you touched on it as far as like, walking us through what your day looks like, but I mean, just to have the energy and really be able to nurture not only what you're doing and for yourself and for everybody else, right? Whether it's the staff or the members, and everything, or vendor partners and things like that, but like also for your family and your kids, right? And like what they got going on. How do you, I mean, like, what's that like as far as like really just having the energy and the time to really pour into what it is that they're doing?
Thank you. It's a good question. Um, well, depending on what your gift is, I think everyone's probably experienced this at some point, whether you're in sports or music or cooking or coding or something. This concept of being in the zone, right? When you're in the flow of something that you just really enjoy, you don't have to generate energy. You don't have to source energy, right? You're just kind of tapped into it. It's like you plugged in and you're just letting it flow, and it's awesome, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's funny that the word purpose keeps coming up in this conversation. I really think that when we can align our sense of purpose with what we're doing, then things don't occur as a sacrifice or a burden because we're in the flow of it, right? People that maybe get frustrated or resentful or whatever about things, I think it's because they're out of alignment there. And there's I'm doing this, but I'd rather be doing that, right? And of course that can be a career thing, that can be a job within a career. Sometimes for people it's a relationship, but I think when we can take a breath and kind of step back again at that and reconnect spiritually as a unity thing instead of falling into that mindset of me versus you or me versus them, again, that's where the magic happens, and you tap back into that source of energy. And it's funny, I don't know why the movie thing's going to come up, but it's funny, anybody that's watched and thought about this way, there's a spirituality to Star Wars, right? And the Force and all of that. I think there's some, I don't know if George Lucas meant it that way or not, but there's definitely some interesting teachings there, potential for people to tap into, that I think mirrors some of this philosophy that it's an us, not I versus you thing. So whenever I find myself getting frustrated or irritated or low energy or feeling sick, right, there's these body responses to it and everything else. I find that, at least for myself, and a lot of times it's because I've disconnected and I've started to make it about me, not we. Right? Should I be mad or irritated about running another errand or doing it? No, because I've totally created a life where that was my purpose. So it's not something to get irritated about. Like this morning, this is a great example. My 14-year-old, oh my God, I hope she doesn't watch this stuff. She's going to be mortified. My 14-year-old likes a young man. And school has started now, and yet she's still on the summer schedule where she wants to be up till like midnight talking to said young man. So this morning, she then texts me and says, "Can you drive me to school? I'm really tired." Oh, you are? Maybe it's because you've been on the phone all night long with your love interest, right? But what I'm gratified about is the self-work I've been doing, with this workbook and things. Instead of letting my mind spiral into, I shouldn't have to, she's being irresponsible. Instead of going into all of that, I could just be like, oh, isn't that interesting? Clearly, I want this to go a different way, so I'm going to have a conversation with her, but I don't need to get all worked up and mad about it and blah, blah, blah. And we just had a calm conversation in the car where I talked with her about it and said, look, it's to your benefit. You're very active. You're involved in things at school, after school. You're already tired from that kind of stuff. This would be why Mom and I want you to get to bed at a decent hour so you can be your best and do that. And oh, by the way, when we do things like this, I'm happy to do that because I'm here to love and support you. And I want you to realize it has an impact. Instead of me exercising now this morning to take care of myself, to be my best for you, I'm skipping that because it's going to take me 45 minutes to drive you back and forth to school. We just had a conversation about it. And you could tell where she was going to get defensive or upset about it. And she's a teenager. Of course she should. But it gave me an opportunity to say, this is not a make wrong. I'm not yelling. We're not having a big blowout about it. I just want to make sure you understand how this all plays out and why I'm making the request that we get you to bed at a decent hour to take care of you.
Wow.
And that was it. I said, okay, great. Let's move on. Tell me about the boy. That's all needs to be said, right? This doesn't have to be about a me versus her, or I'm the dominating parent and you're going to apologize. Why? That's now domination. That's how I have to win. You're going to lose. Let's just get rid of all of that. We don't need that.
Wow. That's like for you to display that much grace, though, in a situation like that, when you have all the things that you got going on, that's really, I mean, that's something that anyone can learn from.
Well, call me if this happens again tomorrow.
That's good.
I am human. I'm not Yoda. I might look like Yoda, but I'm not Yoda.
Oh, man. Wow, that's good, man. Wow. Well, what I know we're coming towards the tail end of this thing, so
sure.
Before I ask you anything, Nishant, do you want to ask him anything?
I had a question, then I got lost in his answers and I forgot the question. So
okay, so I'll ask I'll ask this then. Because I had to remind myself of what I wanted to ask him next too. So I see I'm in the same boat with you, Nishant. How do you assess the future of KSKJ Life, like with yourself and it, like as far as like say like a 10-year plan, like where do you want to see the company go? What are your plans with the company and things like that?
Well, typical this whole conversation, I've got my end around your questions, and I'll give you a slightly different answer. But part of this, again, we really had this great trip to Slovenia recently, right? And even though the kids got bored with some of it, we had some guided tours. We had a walking tour of the capital city and some other things. And learning more about the history was super interesting too, because I felt like it helped give me even greater context for KSKJ. And when you look at some of the core values and things, I really do see them living through and beyond. So, being a smaller group, really, I guess I would call it that, a smaller cultural group in that part of Europe for 700 years. It was different, bigger groups coming through and being in charge, right? And so to have the wherewithal to try to retain language, to try to retain culture within that. There's a long-term view that, and I'm not making your question wrong because your question is great. What's a 10-year view? We've been around for 131 years, right? So for sure, we've got ideas about what we're going to do in the next 12 months, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. And my view is KSKJ is not my company. We are a member-owned company. It was here long before I was here. God willing, it'll be here a long time after I'm here. I'm just the caretaker. It's just my turn to take care of it and pay it forward. Hopefully stronger than when I found it. That's my job, right? So I think what's going to be interesting in the short term is trying to navigate how quickly things are changing and advancing, especially with technology, with AI and its impacts on everything. As the bonus plug for iCover, it's one of the many reasons why we're just thrilled and grateful to be partners with you guys, because we don't have the resources to do what you guys do and what you do for us. So to be able to experiment and test and try out some different things is huge, especially in an industry that can get stale, with the types of products we have. So there's the product design part, there's the delivery part. How do people want to consider engaging with financial products, with life insurance, with annuities, and do that with a company like us? And there's, similar to my comments before, there's space at the table. There's space at the table for the big companies and what they offer. We're not going to offer some of those things. That's not in our lane. But there's some things that very much are in our lane at a more grassroots kitchen table type of level, right? We're common everyday folk like us that, I need a little bit of help. I need coverage for this. I need burial insurance. I want to take care of some final expenses. I want to leave a little bit for my family. I want to leave a legacy gift for my church. I've got a little bit of retirement stuff. I want to have some guaranteed lifetime income. These are just basic needs that I think all of us can relate to. And we're here to help fill that gap. So the kind of company we are, the kind of products we have for folks, and yet partnering with you guys to be able to modernize how we deliver that to people, I think is compelling, and I think it's engaging and attractive. And that's what I would see continuing over the next 5-10 years, is continuing to expand within that, to still be true to who we are and what we're about and why we're doing it, but to be able to do it in increasingly a modern way so that we're meeting people where they're at.
I love that. That's a show closer right there, Nishant. If you got anything else to add, that's a show closer right there, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I appreciate this time with you guys because, one, just because we love being partners with you. But I think it's important and great to get just some time in a story like this out to folks, and hopefully when folks listen in on your podcast and your talks with people, they can see that there's this very real side to what we're all doing. None of us are doing this because we're like, oh man, I can't wait to get rich quick and go have my boat in Monaco. No, we're all people that just want to make a difference and feel connected, and so that our work is purposeful and aligned with our personal values. And when we really look, we're all after the same stuff, right? We want to take care of our families, and we want to take care of people around us. And I'd have to think that most, if not all, people can feel an affinity for that and want to be aligned with that.
Certainly. Wow. Thank you for your time. Thank you for making this happen. Thank you for all the gems and the clips that you've given us that we can use.
I'm happy to. And I'll let you know if somebody rides the bus or rides in my car tomorrow morning.
That's good. Oh, man. Yeah. Ladies
I
and
appreciate you guys.
Yeah. No,
I really hope you had a great time. And
I did.
Any last words for us?
Oh, wow. This guy's on a podcast talking to a life insurance CEO. Says, you have any last words? Wow.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah, he did that. Can I drop your mic? Can I do that? Who's the comedian now?
That was all. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, he just did that. After that, no, I got nothing.
You should try stand up, right? Have you ever thought of trying?
No, but I think you just did the stand up. I'm just the color commentary. I'm like those old guys in the Muppets that are up on the side just making comments. I'm like that guy.
But yeah, no, we again, thank you so much, and we'll hopefully, we'd love to have Miss April or Miss Lauren like in this thing, like, so we'll try to reach out to them if they're open. Again, everyone, Mr. Tony Mravle, I hope you all enjoy this episode, and thank you, good sir.
Thank you
so much.
Thanks, guys.